Hey, what's up, guys? This is Brian from Whisper Status 74. Happy Halloween. It is October 31st, 2019. Got a little pumpkin head here. Happy Halloween. And the reason why I want to do today's video is on OLED. And quickly before we start, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the channel. Please like, subscribe, and share. This is a small therapy-based tech channel. We cover video games, movies, anything that's tech as it pertains to our real life. We do reviews, but primarily we do deep dives into tech as it goes with our everyday life and existence. And today we're going to cover burn-in, and most importantly, the fear of it. The last however many months, how many ever years, burn-in has always been a concern. But the questions I've been getting about it now are less accusatory. What I mean by that is, for the longest time, burn-in was something that people said either happened, don't buy this because burn-in happens, I've heard it happens, or they're garbage, really kind of all over the place, or should I get this? What's been happening lately is, as it's becoming more accepted that they're a little bit better than they used to be, I think it still happens. People have been asking the question in a more fearful way, basically saying, perfect example is, I'd like a Samsung Q90R or a Vizio or a Hisense, whatever display, but I love the C9 or the A9F or the 88G or any of these Sony OLEDs or the Panny OLEDs. But I'm fearful of burn-in. The reason we're doing this video today is the words fear, and I thought it would go well with the Halloween theme. And I've many times in the past tried to convince you that it's not a fear that you should have. And perhaps that's wrong of me, as I will illustrate with Call of Duty that's behind me on the display. This is, by the way, a large LED, 75 inches. I do love OLED. It is my favorite picture quality. My favorite display currently right now is the LG C9. I'd love to purchase one at 77 inches. They're very expensive at 77, so I will wait for that to fall. I do have a soft spot for bright LEDs, however. But there's a reason why Modern Warfare is behind me. And we'll talk about that in a second. The fear of burn-in. Burn-in tends to happen, a lot of you guys will think or say it's mostly due to gaming, or the same network logo in the corner. Now, I advise you guys or recommend you guys check out ratings.com, which did an excellent study on many OLEDs over a year period of time for thousands of hours of the same content over and over. Gaming, FIFA, I think it was World War II, Call of Duty, and then network TV. Now, what burns in more than anything is not just the heads-up display. It's the lack of, or duration, I should say. It's the varying of content. The content not being switched enough. Not gaming on it. So the question of many of you is, should I game on it? Well, considering the C9, I think, is probably the best gaming TV right now, besides the Samsung Q90R. HDMI 2.1, fully used, variable refresh rate, FreeSync, low latency game mode along with the Samsung. It's hard to say you shouldn't game on something that is so perfect for gaming. Immediate pixel response, excellent motion, gorgeous picture. Burn-in is the thing you guys are afraid of. What I'm trying to say, though, about the fear aspect of it is, if you are fearful, and you guys have used words terrified, I'm terrified of it, I would say don't buy one. And that's what I've been saying to you guys in the comments. Primarily because, doing the more therapy-based conversation we're going to have, is whenever you're watching something, movies, games, the best thing to do is to be present, to watch it. We're all settings nuts. We all mess with our settings and are all taken out of the experience by whether it's our phones or what's happening around us. But a lot of times settings and defects will pull us out. Being fearful every 2 seconds about the display burning in is going to pull you out of it. I want you to enjoy your technology. I want you to enjoy OLED. If you're not comfortable with OLED, if you're not someone that can vary content. Now, I'm not saying that in the way of, hey, if you guys can't take care of your stuff, that's not what I mean. And I'll prove it to you, me taking my own advice. We just said varying your content is what's most important. Okay, so varying it means If you're going to play games, play a bunch of different games or switch it up. Go from game to movie to TV. For many of you, that's not a problem as you have one display in the house or one major display. And typically, your most expensive display is the one that's used the most. It's the one that's in your living room. For me, I still have a plasma upstairs. I have a projector. This is just for me. So if this was an OLED, it would be used only the way I use it. Not my wife, not my kids. So you think it'd be safe because they're not going to be using it to watch the same channel over and over. Not so. To follow my own advice, the Call of Duty Modern Warfare has been all I've been playing on this display since it launched. And I've been playing it pretty hard, a couple hours a night. In fact, I play very late at night. And what occurred to me is not following my own advice. Now, it's not an OLED, but for me to say it's easy to vary content doesn't really pertain to everyone, which is where I'm hoping some of you guys can find this relatable. It's in a dark room. I control what's on it, but playing Call of Duty for the last week and a half, going on 2 weeks, that's all that's been on it. Now, does that concern me? Typically, it wouldn't. I'm not worried about the heads-up display. I'm not worried about the ammo counter. And the reason that is because whenever I switch to another screen, that HUD goes away. The game over sign, when game over happens, the HUD dissipates. Everything disappears. We switch back and forth. I'm not too concerned. What does concern me is that the same thing is on screen the entire time, which is what I'm going to illustrate to you now. Hold on. Okay, guys, you're going to see here in the corner is a build number. Whatever updates. This game is updating every day, a few times a day. That's the build number. As of yesterday, that number was on the other side of the display, and it stayed there the entire game. If the game was loading, it was there. During gameplay, it was there. During loading of new maps, it was there. Other than the campaign, it was visible the entire time. That is not a transparent number. I can't see through that. That's pretty solid. It's faint, but it's solid. So as I was playing yesterday and realizing I'm playing the same game for how many ever days, I was seeing that build number on screen for hours upon hours. It didn't ever go away. The game would load. It would go to black. You lose, you win. Boom, it was there. It didn't dissipate. Now, as this game starts, we're in the multiplayer. As I go over to, right now it's still there. Can even do it real time. We're going to do let's do a custom match just to show you. Still there. Now, this entire game, or time I've been talking, it's there. We're going to load. Let it run. Still there. Okay? Still there the entire time. Now, it's gone. As of yesterday, it was still there. Now, as we go to the other side of the screen, wait for it. Now, you guys can see that it is already creeping in. Still there. It's pretty bright to still be there. Maps loading in. You have your lobby aspect when you start up. Still there. Still there. Still there. Now, what I'm going to try to do is just go kill myself real quick. Wow, I'm really close. Okay. Still there. I'm dead. Okay. Game resets. There I am. Now, pause it. The heads-up display disappears, right? So, this is what you guys are worried about, is the heads-up display. What I'm telling you is that the things that concern me is that number, which is going to be there 95% of the time that you play. Until this game ends, it will then jump to this side. Okay? What I'm trying to say in this long video is I don't think you should not be fearful. I think you should be aware of it. And I think you should pay attention to things like that with your games. I think if I was playing a game like Witcher 3 or whatever, that would be a problem. Now, the fact that they've moved it from yesterday and their update is showing me that at least they have some idea of it. But, for Respawn or Activision or any developer, that will burn in the screen because that's not ever moving. That's there. There's no break at all. If I was playing that on an OLED for the last week and a half, that would make me crazy. And if you are playing Call of Duty and that is there, vary your content. If you're done playing Call of Duty, run a pixel test on YouTube, run a video on YouTube, watch a movie quick. I find that arduous. That would be an extra step I don't feel like doing at 2 o'clock in the morning or midnight when I'm done playing. So that's something to be mindful of. You can see it from here. That's there the entire time, regardless of if I start the game back up. There. You can actually see it. Get over something that's a little dark. There. Flashbang, white screen. There. See it? That's the kind of thing that I would be fearful of to go with our Halloween theme. But what I'm trying to say is I'm not going to convince you guys not to be concerned. If it really bothers you, it's okay to be fearful. It's okay to be aware of it, and I don't recommend it to you. Again, not saying that you shouldn't be able to take care of it. I'm just saying it's going to require a few extra steps. I'm not even practicing it myself. If I had bought an OLED, that would bother me. That would bug me. If you're playing Call of Duty on an OLED, just be mindful of that. So it's kind of a Call of Duty warning to you guys until they figure that out. Now, it's pretty transparent. That will still burn in the screen because it's not ever going away, except for the one time you win the game. But if you play this game consistently, running it, that will always be there. And that's a concern. And that's an extra layer of care that many of us don't want to do. So if you can handle that layer of care and you don't mind doing it, as I'm showing you, I haven't been doing it. If this was an OLED, I would find it to be a pain in the butt to run a movie quick before I go to bed. But just to illustrate it, I've been playing this game nonstop. Multiplayer only. If that was in Red Dead Redemption 2 and that number was down there, that would burn in your screen. So I'm not going to tell you it can't happen. I can tell you that it will happen with things like that. Little tiny things like that will burn in screen. So I'm not saying don't be afraid. I'm just saying be cognizant of it. Pay attention to it. Fear is healthy to have. But for a lot of you guys in the comments wanting me to convince you to get one, but you're terrified, I would say I don't want you to be concerned. I would say continue with your LEDs. I think OLED's an amazing choice, but I want you to be present. I don't want you to be afraid to go with the Halloween theme. More importantly, I don't want you to not enjoy your display. You buy a brand new display, I want you to enjoy it and not be worried about it, not be afraid of it. I use the word fear because it's Halloween, and you guys have been saying, I'm terrified of OLED, I'm terrified. I'm not going to convince you to get one if it's going to be something that's going to take you out of the experience and you're going to be worried about it or freaking out at your family for leaving the same channel on. But primarily, something like that is something to really look out for. In Call of Duty, look out for that. If you're playing it more than I am, you're playing it a lot, vary your content, turn this off, put on a movie, let it run for a little bit, and then play again. But be aware of that number. Hopefully by the time this video comes out, it'll be gone. But be afraid, be careful. I would have no problem having OLED, but I would know for me, I would take an extra step. And I'm just trying to tell you guys that the fear is healthy, but I'm not going to convince you to get one if it's bothering you and you're terrified of them. Happy Halloween. This is Brian from Whisper Status 74. OLED's an awesome choice, but not worth the stress if it's going to stress you. Take care.